I have yet to see a single example of Angel Reese being a leader outside of rebounding her own missed layups. What does Angel Reese do? What is her contribution? You tell me, because I'm not seeing it. I know I'm harsh on Angel Reese, but she considers herself a star. If you're going to call yourself a star, I expect you to perform like a star, especially in big moments. Caitlin Clark was injured. Angel Reese was the only star on the court last night, and for 27 minutes, she completely disappeared.
Angel Reese just experienced the most humiliating game of her career on the grandest stage of them all. In front of a sold-out crowd at the United Center, the NBA's largest arena, and under the bright lights of primetime television, she delivered a disappointing performance, just 4 points on 2 of 7 shooting. Meanwhile, her team, the Chicago Sky, suffered a crushing 27-point loss to the Indiana Fever. What makes this loss even more painful? The Fever were missing key players, Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, and even their head coach. But the moment that truly sealed the embarrassment? We'll break it down in this video, including a jaw-dropping move by Caitlin Clark on live TV that's being seen as a major blow to Reese's pride. If you're here for that unforgettable Caitlin Clark moment, drop a baby giraffe in the comments. Let's get into it.
Well, there's a lot of reaction coming in from last night's drubbing, destruction, annihilation, cremation, whatever you want to call it, roasting, sauteed, whatever your form of cooking may be. But the Indiana Fever absolutely dismantled the Chicago Sky.
You know, a player might not be the main attraction when ticket prices drop to the cost of a candy bar at a gas station. This game at the United Center was meant to be Angel Reese's defining moment, a chance to show she could drive attendance and viewership on her own, without Caitlin Clark as the headliner. Please don't forget to like the video and subscribe my channel for more awesome content. Thanks. The Chicago Sky had been pushing that storyline all season, that Reese was just as much of a box office draw as Clark, that fans were showing up to see her, too.
Angel Reese is now quoted as saying, "I'll look back in 20 years and be like, yeah, the reason why we're watching women's basketball is not just because of one person." She refuses to say Caitlin Clark's name. "It's because of me too, and I want you to realize that."
Then reality hit hard, like a freight train. As soon as news broke that Caitlin Clark would miss the game due to a quad injury, ticket prices nosedived. What were once premium price seats suddenly dropped to just $3. That's right, less than the cost of a decent cup of coffee. And that's what people were actually willing to pay to watch Angel Reese play at the United Center. This wasn't just a minor price dip. These were tickets originally expected to sell for top dollar, meant for a high-profile showdown between two of the WNBA's rising stars. But the moment Clark's absence became official, the bottom completely fell out of the secondary market. Scalpers couldn't even give the tickets away. Fans lost interest, excitement fizzled out, and one thing became painfully clear: there's only one true box office star right now.
Last night was somewhat of a big moment for Angel Reese and the Chicago Bravado. For starters, the WNBA moved the game out of the local dump the Bravado usually play in and relocated to the United Center, which is the largest arena in the NBA, holding over 20,000 people. Now, to their credit, there seemed to be a good crowd in the United Center last night. I had someone who was at the game send me a few pictures, and most sections seemed to be filled. It wasn't a sellout, but there was supposedly over 19,000 people in attendance. Of course, it's easier to draw a decent crowd when tickets are selling for $3 hours before the game starts.
Social media said it all. Fans flooded timelines with screenshots of $3 tickets, laughing emojis, and jokes about how they could take the whole family to a Sky game for less than the price of parking. All the hype that had been building around this big United Center matchup, it vanished faster than a popped basketball. Let's be honest, this was supposed to be Chicago's time to shine. The Sky had been pushing the narrative that Angel Reese brought her own fan base, that she was must-see TV, and that viewers were tuning in just to watch her play. But when it came down to it, and Caitlin Clark wasn't in the picture, the message from fans was loud and clear: there's only one name really driving the demand.
Oof, what an outfit Angel Reese was rocking. She put a lot of time, a lot of effort into making sure her ensemble was on point. Are my boots matching my jacket? Are my gloves matching my hat? Angel Reese put in tons of time for this outfit, which begs the question, does Angel Reese put in more time in her outfits for the pre-game catwalk, or does she put in more time to actually get better at the game of basketball?
Now compare that to previous games where Caitlin Clark was in the lineup. Her presence consistently drove massive ticket sales and packed arenas. Fans would line up hours in advance just for a chance to see her warm up. The difference? It couldn't have been more striking.
Folks, there were people in the crowd getting there early saying, "Hey Caitlin, can you sign my jersey? Hey Aaliyah, can you sign my shirt? Hey Sophie, can you sign my picture?" There were people asking for autographs in the Chicago Sky crowd that weren't even born yet the last time the Chicago Sky scored this little amount of points. There were people in the crowd who weren't even a thought in their parents' mind at the time that the Chicago Sky last scored at least 52 points, the lowest point total since 2011.
Even diehard Chicago Sky fans seemed less engaged once the anticipated Clark versus Reese showdown was off the table. The atmosphere shifted from electric excitement to a sense of going through the motions. People who had planned watch parties suddenly made other Friday night plans. That crash in ticket prices? It was just the start of what turned out to be Angel Reese's worst-case scenario unfolding on the biggest stage. Those $3 tickets ended up being a perfect preview of the performance to come, from a player many had been calling Chicago's next big star.
Angel Reese, part 38! Let's get it! Life throws her lemons. She makes bricks. Bang! PSA to anyone watching, she is right-handed. Right-handed, by the way. She missed the rim by 3 feet, man. Bang! I gotta say, this is my favorite summer sitcom. Pecan? Butter pecan? Bang! Here's a stat. She's been blocked 20 times, and she's only made 21 hoops. What?
4 points on 2 of 7 shooting in 27 minutes, on prime-time national television. This is how a reputation can unravel in real time. The United Center was hosting its first-ever WNBA game. CBS had cleared its primetime schedule, with no competing broadcasts, giving this matchup the full spotlight. A sold-out crowd filled the NBA's largest arena, expecting a show. What they got instead was what some analysts labeled a disaster class, a complete breakdown from Angel Reese on the sport's biggest stage.
As a matter of fact, this might have been the first WNBA game broadcast on CBS in prime time. If it's not the first, it's one of very few. This was a big moment. I'm sure the WNBA would call it historic. Angel Reese is playing in an NBA arena in prime time on network television on Saturday night. Outside of regular season baseball, maybe the College World Series, there was no competition on television. The eyes of the sports world were focused on Angel Reese and the WNBA. And Angel Reese once again proved why no one is watching her.
Let's take a closer look at just how rough this performance really was. Reese finished with only 4 points, missing 5 of her 7 shots, including 2 layups that drew audible groans from the crowd. One of those attempts was completely blocked, and the cameras didn't miss a second of her visible frustration as the game spiraled out of control. For a player promoted as Chicago's rising superstar and a supposed box office attraction, this stat line was nothing short of brutal.
Caitlin Clark is averaging more assists per game than Angel Reese is averaging points per game this season. Yeah. 9.3 points per assist per game. 9.3 assists per game. Let me just bring it up. To 9.1 points per game.
What made it even harder to watch was how lost Reese looked on the court. Her decision-making was shaky, she seemed overwhelmed by the moment, and she had no answer for Indiana's relentless defensive pressure. The cameras caught it all, every frustrated head shake, every disappointed gesture, as one missed shot after another bounced off the rim.
Another diabolical stat. She's 19 of 59 from less than 5 feet away. How about that, man? Bang! She should work in housekeeping for hotels because she could turn it over quickly. Lost by 27, scored only 4 points against the Indiana Fever. I mentioned no Caitlin Clark, no problem, give and go. Like a given no shot of working. Bang!
You prefer car or plane?
Car or plane for what? For how you want to travel! That's too many steps and you can't do that. Bang!
This wasn't just a case of missing a few tough shots. This was a performance that made it seem like Reese didn't belong on the same court as a professional team. The crowd's reaction said it all. What began as eager anticipation from fans who paid good money to witness this high-profile matchup quickly turned into visible disappointment. Frustration built with each missed opportunity. And by the fourth quarter, some fans were already heading for the exits, despite the historic significance of the United Center hosting its first WNBA game. What made the performance even more cringeworthy was the contrast with the lead-up. In the days before tip-off, Reese had been active on social media, showcasing her celebrity lifestyle and projecting her usual confident image. But when the spotlight was brightest and the pressure peaked, she crumbled.
Ooh, what an outfit Angel Reese was rocking. She put a lot of time, a lot of effort into making sure her ensemble was on point. Are my boots matching my jacket? Are my gloves matching my hat? Angel Reese put in tons of time for this outfit, which begs the question, does Angel Reese put in more time in her outfits for the pregame catwalk, or does she put in more time to actually get better at the game of basketball?
The Sky's offensive struggles went well beyond Angel Reese, but her performance stood out as especially difficult to watch. Not a single Chicago player reached double digits in scoring, and the team put up just 52 points, their lowest total since 2011. Still, even amid a full team collapse, Reese's showing was the most glaring disappointment. One analyst didn't mince words, saying, "Angel Reese once again proves she's nowhere near Caitlin Clark's level." This wasn't just a rough outing, it was a complete breakdown on the biggest stage women's basketball has to offer. And the Fever? They capitalized fully on Chicago's meltdown, without even needing their best player on the court.
But unfortunately, Angel Reese brought her outfit and left her game at home. She brought the nice hat, she brought the nice boots, she brought the nice jacket, she brought the nice gloves, but unfortunately, she left her game at home. 4 points, 12 rebounds, 2 assists in 27 minutes of action, a minus 23 turnovers as the Chicago Sky, without Caitlin Clark, without Sophie Cunningham, without Stephanie White.
This wasn't Angel Reese's first rough outing against the Fever. It's starting to become a troubling trend. Let's rewind to May 17th, when the Indiana Fever completely dismantled the Chicago Sky with a 93-58 blowout at Gainbridge Fieldhouse. That 35-point loss wasn't just another bad night. It marked the beginning of what's turning into Angel Reese's ongoing nightmare whenever she faces Indiana.
Angel Reese gets up, Aaliyah Boston shoves her, gives her a little stiffy. Hey, don't come at Caitlin. But look at her, Angel Reese upset. Oh my gosh. Hey man, this was hilarious. Look, Angel Reese was pissed. Look at her, she was still going out there a little bit. Look, took the jersey out. What's going on? Look.
In that May matchup, Reese tried to take a physical approach with Caitlin Clark, using aggression and contact in an attempt to rattle her and assert dominance. But the strategy backfired. Badly. The Fever stayed composed and went on to deliver one of the most lopsided wins in WNBA history. What's especially damaging for Reese's reputation is that this wasn't just a one-off failure. That May blowout was only the beginning of what's now become a completely one-sided rivalry. The Fever are 2-0 against the Sky this season, and both games have been blowouts. And in both losses, Angel Reese has been at the center of Chicago's struggles.
I thought Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark were cool. But I don't know, man. The way Angel got up, she was like, Look at her. Ooh. I mean, she was getting after it, fam. Oh my goodness. Now, the funny thing was Caitlin Clark sniffing, walking away. Hold on, let me see if I can get a good angle. Oh yeah, look. watch Caitlin Clark's face right here. Watch this.
Fan reactions have made the message loud and clear. Social media is flooded with side-by-side comparisons of both matchups, highlighting how Angel Reese has consistently struggled against Indiana. Comments range from questioning her ability to handle pressure to outright mocking her efforts to compete with Caitlin Clark and the Fever. A 35-point loss in May, followed by a 27-point blowout at the United Center, paints a clear picture. Reese's confidence appears to unravel every time she faces Indiana. Her physical tactics fall flat, her shooting collapses, and she looks completely out of rhythm on the court. So, how exactly did Caitlin Clark put Reese in her place? Live on national television. Let's take a closer look.
That clock is winding down. You got to close out with the hand up. Her hands were down and Howard knocked it down, and that is a travel.
Reese drags the pivot foot, gives the ball back to Indiana. 8 to shoot. Boston this time working against Reese. Pivots, puts it up.
There's a moment.
What we're seeing isn't just a couple of bad games. It's the unraveling of Angel Reese's confidence and reputation when facing Indiana. The Fever seem to have gotten so deep into her head that she can't perform at even a basic level when they are on the other side of the court. And this trend points to something bigger, a major shift in the narrative around both players' legacies and the true direction of this so-called rivalry. What makes this most recent blowout even more brutal? The Fever didn't have Caitlin Clark, Sophie Cunningham, or even their head coach, and they still handed the Sky a dominant 27-point loss. Let that sink in. Indiana was missing 3 of its most important pieces, yet made Chicago look like a high school team trying to keep up with pros.
No Caitlin Clark, no problem. No Sophie Cunningham, no problem. No head coach Stephanie White, have no fear. The final boss, Austin Kelly, is here. The Chicago Sky, we came into your building and we just, from pillar to post, smacked you guys around.
Kelsey Mitchell rose to the occasion, leading the Fever with 17 points on an efficient 5 of 11 shooting. She also contributed 5 rebounds and 2 assists, stepping up as the steady veteran presence her team needed. From the opening tip, Mitchell took command of the offense, setting the tone and making sure Chicago never found its rhythm. Her leadership was undeniable, and a key factor in the Fever's dominant win.
This time steps right through the heart of the defense and blows by Chicago. The winds off of Lake Michigan. Loses Atkins, step back mini, knocks it down. Oh, the connection to Howard. How about the finish from Mitchell?
And she may be the quickest guard in the league with the ball in her hands.
But here's where things got even more impressive. Ari McDonald came off the bench and lit up the Sky. She dropped 12 points, nailed 3 shots from beyond the arc, and added 4 steals, making an immediate impact. Signed on a hardship contract, McDonald played like a seasoned starter, punishing Chicago for every defensive lapse. She ran the offense with confidence and precision, showing the kind of basketball IQ that clearly separates true pros from the rest.
But both teams facing a little bit of adversity, having certain players out or not at full capacity.
McDonald, a huge triple in the corner. Mitchell, patient in the corner, flips it up top. Boston, other side. McDonald, another 3. I'm loving it.
The Fever's ball movement told the whole story when it came to their superior fundamentals. They tallied 20 assists on 27 made field goals, a clear sign of a team-first mindset that Chicago simply couldn't keep up with. Every offensive possession was smooth, deliberate, and cohesive, while the Sky looked disorganized and scattered in comparison. Acting head coach Austin Kelly deserves major credit for keeping the team locked in and executing flawlessly in Stephanie White's absence. Under his leadership, the Fever didn't miss a step, showcasing the depth and professionalism embedded throughout the organization. After the game, Kelly summed it up perfectly. Our best defense is when our offense is clicking.
Yes, sir.
Great job. All right, great job.
Thanks, Daddy.
It started for us on the defensive end. We set the tone from the jump and never looked back. All right. Their starters, 8 for 29 from the field.
Hell yeah.
Hell of a job. Great attention to detail. That's less than 30%. We held them 32% for the game.
Natasha Howard chipped in with an efficient 13 points, while Aaliyah Boston delivered a well-rounded performance with 11 points, 5 rebounds, and 5 assists. Even Lexi Hull hit a personal milestone, surpassing 500 career points during the blowout. The Fever's balanced scoring and all-around contributions from the entire roster highlighted just how deep and well-rounded this team is. Defensively, they were relentless, holding Chicago to just 52 points. Through tight rotations, aggressive closeouts, and constant pressure, Indiana forced turnovers, contested nearly every shot, and made the Sky earn every single point.
All right, great job there. All right, we won the boards. All right, and they're a second chance point team. All right, we won that area as well. Taking away their strengths was something that we did a great job of. All right.
Just extremely proud of y'all. We stayed locked in. We stayed together. We executed the scout at a very high level. Just multiple levels of effort. Everything that we've asked of you today, we put it in there. And from now, again, stacking days, building on those moments where we're stringing those possessions together, right? Building on those great possessions on defense and on offense. Great, hell of a job, y'all. High level.
This win made one thing crystal clear. The Fever are far more than just the Caitlin Clark show. They are a legitimate championship contender. Depth, coaching, and a winning mentality were on full display during this United Center rout. Even without their star players, Indiana made a statement to the entire league. This performance cemented a new narrative. The Fever are rising, while the Sky are unraveling. Angel Reese's 4-point showing on national TV only underscored how lopsided this so-called rivalry has become. It's all Indiana. With their depth and poise, the Fever look like real contenders heading into 2025, even without their biggest stars. Caitlin Clark is set to be reevaluated on June 9th and could return as soon as Tuesday against the Atlanta Dream. Just imagine what happens when she rejoins a team that's already dominating without her.